on behalf of myself and Molly Whitman, the president of OUTlaw, we'd like to welcome you to our symposium. Our topic today is called It's All About the Children. According to the Census Bureau, there are 1.5 million committed gay couples living in America. 130,000 of these are reported to be married in some way, either legally wed, in a civil union, or in a formal domestic partnership. 1/5 of gay male couples and 1/3 of lesbian couples are raising children. The number of children living in these households is estimated to be between 6 and 10 million. That's a lot of children, guys. But same-sex marriage is not recognized by our federal government. So it's up to the individual states to decide if they're going to recognize same-sex marriage. Here are the states that currently recognize same-sex marriage. There are also some states that recognize civil unions and domestic partnerships. These are created unions for same-sex couples that offer varying subsets of rights and responsibilities, and that depends on the laws of those jurisdictions. New Jersey, on the other hand, has created a legal union that, while not called a marriage, has explicitly defined it as offering some of the rights and responsibilities under that state, though not federal law, to same-sex couples. And then Maryland will recognize another state's legal marriage, but they will not issue a marriage license to a same-sex couple in their own state. And California, well, what can we say about California? It recognized same-sex marriage in May of 2008, only to have the legislature turn around and redefine the definition of marriage in that state to be specifically between one man and one woman. This was called Proposition 8. This effectively stopped everything by November of the same year, and in between June and November of that year, about 14,000 couples, lesbian and gay, married in the state of California. And then by August 2010, there was the case that came about called Perry versus Schwarzenegger that ruled Proposition 8 was unconstitutional. Just last week, I believe it was on the 9th, the Ninth Circuit Court affirmed that Proposition 8 is unconstitutional, and many of us expect that the United States Supreme Court will decide on that eventually. So what's all the fuss? Well, it's become so important to same-sex couples to slug it out about legally being married in the United States because if you're legally married, the federal government confers more than 1,138 rights and protections to you if you're a United States citizen that's legally married. Some of the benefits include financial benefits. You can file joint tax returns, you can get public assistance as a family, you can get better insurance rates, you can get retirement or pension for your deceased spouse. Some of the medical benefits include being able to go in and visit your spouse if they're in intensive care, or being able to get insurance coverage under your spouse's plan, or bereavement or family leave. And then additional benefits, you get jail visitation if it's family only. If it's a family only situation, you're a family member. Some companies and organizations will give you tuition discounts if you're part of the family. And let's not forget the spousal communication privilege that everyone uses in the courts. Then in Texas does not recognize same-sex marriages. And thus far, Texas has refused to help any legally married same-sex couple that's been married in another state obtain a divorce in Texas. So an LGBT couple could try to do something proactive and protect themselves in Texas. They could give themselves some of the rights and protections that heterosexual couples have. For example, they could try to put together a domestic partnership agreement, something that would help them decide how to title property when it's purchased, or how to divide their estate if they separate later on, how to give provisions for visitation and custody, or to state how the couple will handle any future shared parenting. They could set up wills or trusts, because we all know that if you don't set up a will to divide your property and you die intestate, your partner will be given 0, and the rest of your family, it will go down to consanguinity. That works. You could also sign power of attorney, so medical power of attorney in case your partner is on life support. You don't want someone else coming in that's a third cousin once removed to make that couples don't think about doing things like that in Texas when they're happy, when everything's going the right way. It's when things start falling apart, and then it's too late. So how can a family lawyer help? What if a couple wants to adopt a child in Texas and they're getting along quite well? Or what if they're splitting up and they've got property divisions or child custody disputes? That's why we have our panel here to talk to you today. We have Keith Griffin, David Cole, and Michelle O'Neill with us today.
Bet y'all can't guess which one I am.
Please welcome our attorneys to SEU. Mr. Griffin has an undergraduate and his law degree from the UT at Austin. He has offices in both Dallas and New York. His Dallas office does a lot of family law practice, and his New York office does a lot of entertainment law. He is right around the corner from all of the live entertainment in Broadway there. He's board certified in family law since 1979, member of the New York Bar Association and the Dallas Bar Association, and he says one of his most honored accomplishments is that his peers have given him the highest AV rating with Martindale Hubbard for highest legal ability and ethical standards. We have Mr. Cole. He is from Little Flower Adoptions. He earned both his BA at the University of Texas and his law degree from Pepperdine School of Law. He specializes in adoption and assisted reproduction. He's a member of the American Academy of Adoption Attorneys, a charter member of the Dallas County Child Death Review Team. He earned the award in 1995 from the American Bar Association's Child Advocacy. And he has been involved in both the Governor's Adoption Initiative Task Force, the Dallas Family Connection, and the Texas Association for Infant Mental Health. Last but not least, Michelle O'Neill from O'Neill & Attorneys has earned her undergraduate and law degrees from Baylor, has been certified in family law since 1997, and has her board specialization. She's served as a barrister and Annette Stewart into the court since 2003. She's been the author of 2 books. One is called All About Texas Law and Kids, and the other, Basics of Texas Law and Divorce, and many numerous articles. You can get that through her website. Her subspecialty is in LGBT custody issues, especially in appellate matters. And she is also, like Keith, has received an AV peer review rating with Martindale Hubbard for the highest quality legal ability and ethical standards. So before we start any individual questions, one of the things I wanted to do is open the discussion by giving our panel
down to the savings and loan industry, which had trickled down to all the big law firms, and there were no jobs to be had. And my choices were to go to work like some of my colleagues as a paralegal, or go back home to my hometown, which is Belton, Texas, and open up a law office. And so that's what I chose to do. The day I passed the bar, at the time, Justice Raul Gonzalez from the Texas Supreme Court was eating a hamburger in my Mother's Burger restaurant in Salado, Texas. And he found out I'd passed the bar, and he said, well, let's swear you in. And I said, not over the burgers, you're not. So he invited me to a meeting he was at that night, swore me in before the meeting. And that same day, I signed a lease on my law office that was a little 10-by-10 room. And I had a computer and a room, and I started practicing law. And being 23 and looking about 12, there were a couple of kinds of cases that would hire me. One was criminal defense appointments because they had no choice. The second was juvenile defense appointments because they had no choice. And the third was family law. And I thought family law was the greatest thing ever because it was the thing that on a Friday when I needed money to pay the rent, somebody inevitably would come in carrying 5 crisp $100 bills. And it was awesome. And I knew the answer to the question, and I'd take their case and I'd go with it. So it more chose me. I got into